How it goes, family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Happy Juneteenth. We're on a roll. Life is good, and we're going to continuously make money moves as we should, and we're going to go from there. Don't forget to support on this Juneteenth, support Black-owned businesses and banks, HBCUs, sharing, sharing, subscribing. However, there's ways you can do. You can support people without even spending a single dollar. All it takes is just a little bit of initiative, and you can just go from there. Today's topic, once again, be talking about cryptocurrency. Last week, I had the pleasure of talking to great, amazing people about cryptocurrency and our perspective on it and where it's at and where it's going and, all that good stuff. And as I always say, full disclaimer, I'm not a crypto expert. I've just been investing in it for a couple of years, get my perspective on it, and I go from there. You know what I mean, family? But anyways, let's get this show started. It's actually interesting because, countries are trying to actually adopt cryptocurrency as a standard of currency and whatnot. And that's where that this thing is going to continuously evolve and grow bigger than what anybody can imagine, because you got actual countries out here saying, hey, we want to get rid of our currency and and adopt actual cryptocurrency. And the first country to actually do that was El Salvador, which is located in Central America. And to me, I just thought that was phenomenal and amazing for them to even go out on a limb to do that. Unfortunately, on June 9th, the World Bank actually rejected their request to do this, fortunately. But El Salvador, they were the first country to try. They wanted to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender, after their Congress, approved it. Approved the president's proposal to embrace cryptocurrency to move, that the light currency supporters and whatnot. And it's funny because, and like I said, I'm not saying anything bad or good about El Salvador. This is not the point, or any other country that I'm going to talk about. Not there's no hate or anything of that nature. Your feelings are your feelings in regards to any specific matter. But I remember, having a lot of friends whose parents, who's actually from El Salvador. They told me, because there was such a big migration of people from El Salvador to the United States at one time, there was so much money exchanging from the United States to El Salvador, because that's another thing people don't realize. When people immigrate to the United States, a lot of times they send a lot of money home. So, they make that money circulate and percolate. And even in certain instances, people send money home and they actually will buy real estate, or they will actually create businesses and whatnot with that money. That's another conversation for another day, but that happens on a lot of bases. I've heard people do that in parts of the Middle East, parts of other parts of Asia, in Africa and whatnot. Not just people just migrating to the United States to create a better life for themselves, but a lot of times they're even working harder for themselves in the U.S. or Europe to create a better life for their family back in their home country. So I think it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? But anyways, back to the topic at hand. When it boils down to cryptocurrency, like I said, unfortunately, the World Bank rejected their proposal, but you just never know. I think maybe take a couple more years, but I think the World Bank might evolve to embrace it once they could, if they could try to get some control when it comes to cryptocurrency, and that's their whole thing behind it. I don't see a country going fully on the cryptocurrency side, but the fact that they want to, it just shows where this thing is evolving at. And to me, I just find it to be very interesting all at the same time. So it's going to just continues to be an evolving matter. But talking about another country, Tanzania is considering crypto and boost Bitcoin as the nation's lineup, because they're actually lining up behind El Salvador they want to decentralize their actual currency, and they want to adapt cryptocurrency / Bitcoin as their actual currency. So it's amazing. And I actually wonder when this day will actually come, when people will want to do this all over the world, where more and more countries are actually going to jump on board with this and say, hey, you know what, we're tired of our currency. The world's gone digital. We want to go digital, et cetera, and so forth. So why don't we just jump on the bandwagon? If we can get a handle on this, and hey, because then you're going to see more countries. Not only will they hypothetically speaking, if they adopt Bitcoin slash Ethereum as their currency and whatnot, but then they're going to create, the country as a whole is going to, since everybody's creating their own Bitcoins anyways, the country as a whole, say El Salvador creates their own Bitcoin and whatnot, and then, it's at a specific price, and of course they'll do what they can to monetize on it. But it'd just be another way for them to invest from a digital perspective. And say, Tanzania does the same thing. So it's actually interesting, because when I look at it, even if the World Bank rejects this, maybe countries will decide to buck and say, you know what, okay, we get it, but we're still going to we're going to have our own currency. We're going to keep our currency as we're going to keep it as it is now. However, we're going to adopt our own Bitcoin as a currency, as a coin. We're going to have our own Bitcoin actual coin. So say it's the Tanzanian Bitcoin, hypothetically speaking, whatever they may call it, just like Dogecoin, went to another place and just became very, very interesting, and it's gone up and down, and even have people like Elon Musk getting involved. So we'll see how that may transpire. However, the moral of the story is the fact that a lot of these nations are thinking about making as their actual currency, with it getting accepted or getting rejected. I just see them saying, okay, well, we're still going to create our own Bitcoin as from a country perspective, and then to kind of give like country pride in a sense, as they have their own currency, then you're like, hey, we have our own currency, we have our own Bitcoin, so hey, jump on the bandwagon. I could probably see, I don't know if the United States would allow this, but just think of a state like a West Virginia or a Virginia or a Maryland or Georgia or Texas, like, hey, we're going to have the Texas Bitcoin, you know what I mean? And then cities, we're going to have the Dallas Bitcoin. I just see it may evolve into that. I'm not acting like I'm a financial professional or an expert or anything of that nature, but the fact that foreign countries actually want this to be their own currency, I could just see from my personal standpoint, this actually evolving into something different. You know what I mean? Like, or just say the fact, so El Salvador has their own Bitcoin. So then maybe Mexico wants to have their own Bitcoin. Maybe Honduras wants to have their own Bitcoin. Costa Rica, you know what I mean? The list goes on and on. Say South Africa, say, we're talking about Tanzania. So then maybe Nigeria, Ghana. The list goes on and on. Ethiopia, Somalia. It's just something to think about. It's really just something to take into consideration. Australia, New Zealand. I mean, like I said, I think it could be actually pretty interesting, pretty cool, because we know this isn't going anywhere. You have Bitcoin cards. You're able to pay your bills with Bitcoin. I've seen more and more Bitcoin ATMs pop up all over the place. So, or I'm sorry, cryptocurrency ATMs pop up all over the place. But it's not going anywhere. Corporate America's bought into it. Governments are buying into it. I'm not going to say the United States government is, and I'm not even going to say that I know what's happening behind the doors of the U.S. government or El Salvador government or the Tanzanian government or whatnot, but it's very interesting. And the one thing is, I mean, because you've had a corporation, like Elon Musk and Tesla, they actually outlined plans for Tesla to resume accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. Now, I don't see that, really evolving anytime soon, but the fact that corporations and governments are on board with actually accepting Bitcoin as a payment for products and whatnot, or trying to have it as a central currency, it's just very interesting. That's why I said I just want to talk about it. In the comment section, let me know your thoughts. Do a like, do a share, do a subscribe. It's very interesting. The president of Tanzania is President Samia Suluhu Hassan, called on the Tanzanian Central Bank, I believe this was last Sunday, to begin working on facilitating widespread use of cryptocurrencies in the East African nation. And I'm just reading off the Forbes article that talks about this. And because while many in Tanzania have not yet embraced decentralized finance, the president, Hassan, said the central bank should be ready for changes and not be caught unprepared. So, hey, the old saying is, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You know what I mean? Because the president, he actually signaled support for the digital assets, especially ever since El Salvador voted to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender last week. And I have a funny feeling by the end of this year, you might have at least one more, but possibly three more countries jumping on board. And that's the thing that people need to take into consideration. The fact that you have presidents of nations that are talking about doing this, and that's what makes this thing very interesting. And that's why people should, look into possibly, learning more about cryptocurrency as a whole, how Bitcoins work, and the whole nine. Because to me, it's very interesting, and I'm in the learning stages, and it's an ever evolving beast. Because remember, at the end of the day, there was actual popular support for Bitcoin adoption in Nigeria. Over the same weekend that the president of Tanzania made this announcement. And interesting is an NFL player of Nigeria placed an open letter to the Nigerian president exploring that the country should adopt Bitcoin standard to avoid falling behind the rest of the world. And it's very interesting, to be honest with you, because even the CEO of Twitter and Square has a high profile of crypto enthusiasts tweeted his support of the idea of a number of times over the weekend of people of countries adopting this as a form of payment on specific levels. I mean, you can utilize Bitcoin within PayPal and Cash App. So, like I said, corporate America's bought into it. Other countries are buying into it. I just have a funny feeling maybe by 2022, if maybe cities or states, maybe just cities, if they have the option, they'll have a way of saying, hey, we're going to adopt Bitcoin in this sort of, or cryptocurrency in this sort of specific fashion. Hey, we might even work in conjunction with a corporation to form our own town or our own city's cryptocurrency. So it's very interesting. Like I said, but El Salvador was already rejected by the World Bank. So we'll see what happens. I have a funny feeling that these are just proposals, right? At this point, nothing's actually really going through, but we'll see what happens. and I'll just call it a day, because one interesting thing that the article stated is, like, if you go to McDonald's or whatever, they cannot say we're not going to take your Bitcoin. They have to take it by law because it's a legal tender in regards to El Salvador. And that's interesting. But I just foresee that the only recourse is just, there's already in the United States, there's already Visa is a great example, because I have 2 crypto cards and they're by Visa. So Visa's already on board with I can load my Visa Bitcoin card with Bitcoin, and I can use that to buy stuff if I want to. I could use that to pay my mortgage. I can use that to pay for taxes. So that's where we're at. And that's why I said I just see this continuously growing, because I can do this in the United States of America, and I leave it at that. But very interesting times that we're living in. Give me your perspective in regards to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Where do you think it's going to go? Do you think it's going to eversly? Do you think it's just going to continuously evolve into the centralized currency of the world? Will it be considered the world currency at one point? I mean, that might be 10 or 20 years down the line, depending on the situation. But I think either way you look at it is very interesting. And I just had to get on here and give my perspective in that regards, because, it's very interesting. And don't forget that I'm a part of Gold Standard Partners, where you have the opportunity to not only buy cryptocurrency, but you have the opportunity to invest in it. And it's referral marketing. You have the opportunity to not only invest in it, but you have the opportunity to refer other people to do the same thing. And you can make money off of their crypto purchases, package purchases, and all that good stuff. So don't forget to check us out. If you have not done so, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, guys. My phone's gone off a couple of times. Thank you for the Cash Apps and the PayPal donations. It's always greatly appreciated. And definitely don't forget, Larry's Anything Goes is all about selling retail products at the same time. So don't forget to check out the online store. But this thing is ever evolving. And I didn't think it would ever get to this point, but it's, countries are on board with this. Corporations have been on board with this. So, I think at the end of the day, one thing I can just, what I've stated earlier, countries don't want to be left behind, because a lot of times people have seen something evolve into what it can be and what it should be, but because of their fear or their lack of knowledge, they don't take advantage of it. And we're not living in a time of lack of knowledge. But if you let your fear control you, then you're not going to be able to make the move that you want to make in this life. And that's just me keeping it real on that note, all right? So don't be scared. Do your research and go from there. I'm not giving out financial advice. Like I said, I just think this is very interesting. We go from there, right? So as I always say, family, make money move or you'll live broke like a fool. As you see, certain countries are not trying to, they're actually trying to make money moves, and they're not trying to be broke like fools anymore. They're trying to get in on the game, So, hey, much shout out to everybody. Much love to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Juneteenth. This is my third video of the day, and I am done. So, much love and respect to you, family. Take care, and I'll see y'all next time.